Hello. So today I'm going to be talking about digital comics. More specifically, the pricing. I actually want to address the comics industry personally on this one, since they're the culprits. I'm going to briefly quote Scott McCloud, who once wrote about comics' crappy cost-to-minute ratio. He goes on to say, I personally think that a 99 cents price point could be attractive for a one-off comic story, if that comic was 50 pages long and formatted to the screen. But they are almost universally not. I'll only get into pricing today because formatting is a whole nother rant, so yeah. Now I've been reading and collecting comics since I was a kid, and that's 16, 18, 27, a lot of years. I actually own a few comics that were given to me in a time when I could just barely read, and those have a price of about 75 cents. When I first got to the point that I understood what I was reading, and by that I mean each series had a continuity to it, and that you couldn't buy issue 248 of Uncanny X-Men and then buy issue 267 and expect to make any sense out of what was going on, the cost per issue was $1.50. Come on, man. I was a kid. Give me a break. The point is, I went through my entire childhood, teens, and young adult life buying comics, and slowly watched the price rise from $1 to $2 to $3, and finally landing somewhere in the present near the $4 to $5 range. How do they justify such a thing? Well, several things go into a cover price, like the printing cost. I mean, the paper from the trees, the ink for the pages, trimming, binding, the maintenance to the press that does the printing. The list goes on and on. But part of the problem was, and still is, while the price went up, the amount of pages never really changed. Your standard comic book in the US is 22 to 24 pages at a price point of $3.99. Gross. If I could go back in time and show the kid version of me what comics were going to be like, he would probably cry. I know what you're thinking. What does all this have to do with digital comics? Well, comics has always been an industry teetering on the precipice of self-destruction, always fighting to stay relevant and entertaining in a world fastly becoming diverse in its entertainment mediums. And part of that problem has been the rising cost. To a potential new reader, the 22-page $3.99 price point is not alluring, especially when the cost-to-minute ratio doesn't balance. For the cost of keeping up with 3 monthly titles, a person could have a monthly subscription to Xbox Live, and that means movies, TV shows, internet, music, and above all else, video games. Hours and hours of entertainment for the same cost of 3 comics. I know I'm not winning you over, comic industry, but first I have to scare you to get you to pay attention. Because while you've finally physically caught up with the rest of us in the 21st century, mentally, you're still in the late 20th. We have this wonderful new method of distribution and exposure, and you're blowing it. You're setting the same price points for a virtual book as you would a physical printed book, and that's just not right. With this new medium outlet, we have the ability to reduce the price of a single title while increasing the page count. That's more content, more incentive for readers to actually purchase digital titles, more bang for their buck. Because there are no printing costs. None. It's really not that hard to change your business model, especially when it benefits an industry that so desperately needs a good shot in the arm. No one's going to reject lower prices and higher page counts. Heck, if you're going to charge us even 99 cents for a digital title, you can make it worth our while by increasing the page count to 40 at minimum. That seems reasonable. Why are we following this 99-cent business model? It may work for portable indie games and digital movie rentals, but for them, the cost-to-minute ratio is much greater than that of a 22-page comic, digital or otherwise. Please, guys, stop shooting yourself in the foot. Give us a reason to care that you're digital now. Give us a reason to buy digital comics.